marriage, only about 5% of the homosexual community actually got married. That's less than 1 in 5 homosexual couples actually got married in the Netherlands. You know what? In Canada now, where same-sex marriage is legalized in Canada, if you're a minister of religion and you refuse to marry a same-sex couple, you will be fined or imprisoned. You'll be taken to court. Yes, that's right. Same-sex marriage is going to affect freedom of speech, freedom of religion. If you speak against it, you're going to be called a homophobe, a bigot, and you're going to be shut down. And you know what? What happened? Freedom of speech. You know what? What happened with Tony Abbott? Just because Tony Abbott's sister is gay, he asks his Senator Bernardi to resign because of the comments he made. But you know full well that there are groups who are not just pushing for same-sex marriage, they're pushing for polygamous marriage. They're pushing for marriage with animals. There's a woman who actually got married to her dolphin last year, believe it or not. She said, I love my dolphin. There's people who want to marry their pets. You see, if love is love, let me ask you this. What about loving your chicken? What about loving your dog? Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Lots of people who do. We live in a corrupt society. Same-sex marriage is only part of the political agenda for the homosexual community to advance their anti-discrimination. They don't want anyone to discriminate against them. But you know what? Being homosexual is not like being born black. It's exactly not what you say! Actually, it's not, you see, because being homosexual is not a skin color, it's a behavioural choice. You know, black people are born black, white people are born white. That's why we don't discriminate against races. But you know, homosexual people are not born homosexual. They're born into a broken world and a broken family. And you know what, friends? You know what, friends? This is what we're saying. No one's born that way. That's the truth. They're all born that way! That's what people like to repeat, but friends, I'm not going to believe it just because all the popular top 40 songs want to sing it. Just because Lady Gaga sings it doesn't mean I'm going to believe it. I mean, who's Lady Gaga anyhow? What classic historical works does she read? What contribution to society does she make apart from dressing loosely and ruining young people's lives? So friends, nobody is born homosexual. It's distinctly the way you are. And as I said, I know many people, I have relationships with people, friendly relationships with people who have had homosexual pasts, and they've been influenced into the homosexual community because of a broken home. You know, we see that every Friday night, Saturday night on Hindley Street, when young women seek for love in a relationship with a man or a one-night stand with a man. Because their fathers never gave them the affection they need. Their fathers never gave them the love that as a young woman they need. And that develops an imbalance in your understanding of sexuality, friends. And that's why young women become homosexuals. Just last Friday night in Rumble Mall, I spoke to a young woman who made the decision only last week to become a lesbian. Why? Because her dad just physically abused her. And what's happening? She's running for security in her female acquaintances who look like men. Which really means deep down she wants a man. She knows that she's built and designed to have a relationship with a man. And friends, you know, that sign over there says homophobia hurts. You know, a lot of people say, come on, Christians, who are homosexuals hurting? What have they ever done to you? I'll tell you what they've done. They're ruining their communities and they're hurting their own lives. The average life expectancy of a gay man is 41 in Australia. And if you have AIDS, it's 39. New South Wales relationships with gay men do not last beyond 5 years. And even in that 5-year term of a committed relationship, homosexuals require promiscuity and a measure of sexual freedom to keep that relationship together. That's the way it works. 7% of New South Wales homosexuals have over 1,000 partners in their lifetime. 17% of New South Wales gay men have over 500 same-sex marriage because it would ruin the foundation of homosexuality. And what's that? From the lips of homosexuals themselves, it's promiscuity. You look at San Francisco, one of the most promiscuous places on the face of the planet. And the average life expectancy, friends, you want to know what homosexuality is hurting? It's hurting homosexuals. You want to know what homosexuality is hurting? It's hurting children. You know what protests, I don't do it these days because I want the media clout, but protests about 10 years ago, that whole sign saying, we're here, we're clear, and we want your children. You know what, friends, they're not getting my children. Praise God for that. You know, there's people who want to reduce the age for consent for sex. They want to reduce the age to 12, 14 years old. There's a lesbian activist in New York who says it's dangerous to keep children away from sex. Friends, these people are dangerous people. And that's because they will abuse themselves.
Oh, we're not. Yeah, you have that one. I'm not going to have to use this anymore. Yeah, sure. We're winding up.
And so, friends, who are homosexuals hurting? They're hurting their own communities. They're hurting themselves. Many people, you know, many people say you're born that way. If you're born homosexual, what about the many hundreds of people who've come out of homosexuality? They're now happy heterosexual lives. Happy heterosexual lives. You know that in America there's over 200 centers to help homosexuals overcome homosexuality. And you know, these aren't Christian organizations. These are secular, psychological, scientific organizations. You know, 68% of gay men who begin counseling in these homosexual organizations, after 12 months, become heterosexual. They forsake their homosexual lifestyle because they realize it's due to an imbalance in their childhood. The lack of the love from their father or their mother. The bad sexual experiences they've had. We live in a horrible society, you know, today. 1 in 5 children is molested. That's the fact. You may not like hearing it, but that's the fact. 1 in 5 children in our society has been abused as a child. You know, that's why we have so many homosexuals. And it's the truth. They testify to it themselves that that's what they've been through. I have friends who've come out of homosexuality. That's what they've been through. You know what, friends? Homosexuals are hurting their own community. That's why we're here. Because we're the only ones at the moment who are unafraid to be branded bigots and hypocrites and you name it. Because we love homosexuals enough. You know, in today's society, if you stand for your beliefs in traditional marriage, like Senator Bernardi, who was ousted by Tony Abbott because Tony Abbott has a gay affiliation with his sister, as you know, he's got a gay sister. As a result, you have to quit your political career. You know, Julia Gillard, she wouldn't speak at the Australian Christian Lobby Conference because the leader of the Australian Christian Lobby said homosexual lifestyle is as dangerous as smoking. And, you know, she says that's an offensive remark. I'll tell you what, people who smoke their whole lives live to about 70 years of age. The people who are homosexual in Australia, the average life expectancy, statistically, is 41 years of age. And very, very unlikely is it to find a homosexual man living over 65 years of age. 86% of Australians who have age are homosexual. John Lennon said facts are stubborn things. Facts are stubborn things. The problem with you and facts is that most of us say, I've already made up my mind, don't confuse me with the facts. You see, because you have a bigoted prejudice, because you have a bias, as a result you say you don't want to hear any facts. You've got gay friends that you know, you've got people who are involved in homosexuality, you say it's hurting their lives, what these preachers are saying, and because of you don't want to hear the facts, because you've got a sentimental, subjective opinion based upon your shifting sentimental emotions. But I'm telling you that the facts are the facts. Statistically, homosexual relationships, particularly with men, do not last beyond 5 years. 7% of New South Wales gay men have over 1,000 homosexual partners in their lifetime. 17% of New South Wales gay men have over 500 partners in their lifetime. 32% of New South Wales gay men have over 50 partners in their lifetime. Now I know that heterosexuals are very promiscuous as well, but I mean I don't know many heterosexuals that have over 50 partners. I met a few sinful young men who've been with lots of women, but I haven't met many young men who've been with over 50. But friends, homosexuality is not who you are. It's what you do. It's what you do. Homosexuality is a behavioural problem. You know, many lesbian activists in the 1970s from Melbourne are still testifying today, and they're living in their 50s and 60s now. They're very old. They testify that in the 70s they chose to become homosexual. They willfully chose to become homosexual. God bless you. That's just the way it is. Just because Equal Love wants to keep repeating many statistics like you're born that way, or just because Lady Gaga has a nice platform in the music industry doesn't make it true. There's many, many people who know this is true. And if you want to look at the fabric and the foundation of Australian society, we were built upon the principles of the Bible, friends. We were built upon the principles of traditional heterosexual marriage. Friends, if you destroy heterosexual marriage between a man and a woman, what happens is you destroy the family. That's the danger of it. One of the most dangerous things is that homosexuals and adoption rights. If they can't naturally produce offspring, why do they think they should have any right to it? And they say, well, what about sterile heterosexuals? Well, that's a non-issue. Sure, some heterosexuals are sterile, but heterosexuality generally leads to offspring. That's the way it is. And so, friends, think about this. It's very, very dangerous with the adoption rights.